Yeah, not just the NBA lottery tonight, but the Hornets, of course, are still looking for their next head coach. Here to talk about all of it is our partner at Locked On Hornets, Walker Mehl. Walker, thanks for joining us. Let's start with the lottery. Not much of a chance at the top pick, exactly a 1% chance. How do you think that ball's going to roll for the Hornets tonight?
I mean, look, it's been a long time before LaMelo Ball that the Hornets got any luck in the lottery. But when they did get some luck, it happened within like a 2 to 3 year span. They got Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson. They moved up in the standings to get both of those guys in the early 90s. Hopefully we can get it in this 3-year span. But ultimately, Nick, it looks like the Charlotte Hornets are probably going to be picking number 13 and number 15 by the time the NBA draft comes along.
Yeah, number 13 is where they have a 92% chance. 15, the trade from the Pelicans. Only a 4% chance for top 4. So in that 13 range, let's assume that's what's going to happen. What kind of player do you think they'll get?
Oh, well, look, you got to be looking for a center. And Mark Williams is somebody from Duke, maybe fans of the ACC basketball would be interested in. Mark Williams is somebody that has an extremely tall standing reach. He's a really good defender. He protects the rim at a high level. I'm hoping that he would be there. Maybe a Jalen Duren from Memphis, who's a freshman and also a really good defender down low. But Mark Williams, I feel pretty good about him being there, Nick. A Johnny Davis, too. Maybe you can double up with both of those first-round picks that they have. Johnny Davis is from Wisconsin, kind of a bigger guard that could match up well with LaMelo in the backcourt. Just a couple of names to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, speaking of names, who's coaching these guys, right? It's been about 4 weeks since Michael Jordan fired James Borrego. We heard for about the last week that Mike D'Antoni was the clear front runner, but we're hearing some different stuff as recently as today.
Had some reports that not only is Mike D'Antoni going to be interviewing really everybody, the Charlotte Hornets have interviewed a ton, but Terry Stotts, the ex-Portland Trailblazers head coach, has also been interviewed now in this process. And Darvin Ham, the assistant on the Milwaukee Bucks coaching staff, has been interviewed now 2 times with the Charlotte Hornets team. And he's been a hot commodity for a while now. In fact, Darvin has kind of had some say in where he wants to land as a first-time head coach. We'll see if maybe he actually has some power on whether he wants to choose the Charlotte Hornets roster or not. But, Nick, it does seem like Mike D'Antoni, at least right now, is the leader in the clubhouse.
A lot of people hear that name and they think of, late playoff disappointment.
Right.
But, he did win. He has won 672 games. What would you think of a D'Antoni to the Hornets hire?
I would love the relationship with point guard LaMelo Ball. We've seen him have great relationships, especially offensively, with Steve Nash, a 2-time MVP award winner on D'Antoni's watch. James Harden won an MVP. In fact, took James Harden, put him at point guard, and made him the most valuable player. So offensively, especially that relationship with your star point guard, it's going to be top notch. Defensively, he's going to have to hire a really good staff. Jeff Bezdelic, a former coach of the Demon Deacons, was on his staff a couple of years ago for the Rockets, and he turned that Rockets defense into a top 10 unit. Could you get that name back? Could you get somebody on the defensive side as an assistant coach to help you in that area? And if he can, I like it, Nick. I think Mike D'Antoni would be a good coach.
Hey, you're just as tall as MJ. You're 6'6". So if you were Michael Jordan and you did own the Charlotte Hornets, who would you go with in this coaching search?
I don't know if that would qualify me to make this decision, just the fact that I ate my vegetables. But
More than me.
Yeah, that's true. Well, okay, I'll take that. And if I had to be in that point of power, I think Darvin Ham would be my go-to guy, depending on whether he felt comfortable enough taking over this roster to be a first-time head coach. I just like the untapped potential of some of these assistant coaches. You've seen it work with the Boston Celtics. Ime Udoka has done a great job with Boston as a first-time head coach. How about a couple of years ago, when Dwayne Casey was fired from Toronto, Nick Nurse takes over, leads them to a championship. I think this roster is ready to win now, Nick, and I do want to see the untapped potential of an assistant coach turned head coach that could come in and really turn things around.
Okay, there's been whispers out there, maybe substantiated, maybe just kind of, speculation about how much LaMelo Ball might have to do with who is hired as head coach. How much does he, do you think? How much should he? I mean, he is playing for Michael Jordan. It's not like he's going to out decide Michael in this case.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me because I think there were reports that LaMelo and his camp might want a Mark Jackson, though he has not been mentioned as a candidate at all for the Charlotte Hornets. But Mike D'Antoni, I think, is the best possible coach for LaMelo. And so it's interesting that Michael Jordan and the Charlotte Hornets decision makers, all the decision makers, might be making the best move for LaMelo, even if it's not his top choice. So they're going to have his future in mind, but also LaMelo LaMelo's 20 years old. How much does he know exactly what is the best thing for this franchise and really even the best thing for him at some point? So I think that's the way the Hornets are operating. They're going to figure out what his opinion is. I'm sure it's heard, but you still have to make the best decision for this organization. And they view that D'Antoni might be that guy, along with being the best choice for LaMelo.
Every single day of the week, your best choice for Hornets coverage is Locked On Hornets. Walker Mehl and the rest, they've got it covered. Walker, thanks for joining us in studio today, delivering as always.
Always a good time, Nick. Thanks again for having me.